quality's down, quantity's down, but there was a bright spot I noticed in recruiting. We had Academy Nights recently in my district, and a new question rose to the top that I hadn't really heard in a lot of previous years. So many students came to me and said, Congressman, which of these academies should I go to if I want to be in the Space Force? And I think we've really ignited a sense of imagination and interest in the Space Force. How long until I'm able to offer these students a great space academy to attend?
Congressman, thank you so much for that question. We're certainly seeing a lot of interest in our own data. We don't have a strategy right now that says stand up our own academy. We're leveraging the Air Force at the moment. But I really appreciate the comment about the interest that is out there, and I will take that back.
Yeah, I think we should devise a plan to at least see what metrics or when that might be necessary and to plan for it. And what we've learned, particularly about this generation, is that there's got to be a real interest in that particular mission, that particular thing, not just the overall brand. And so that's why I think it would be helpful. I want to ask you some questions, General Glynn. What does it cost us to have a Marine Corps?
You mean the overall?
Yeah, just ballpark.
It's just over $50 billion a year.
Right. And how much of that do you manage in your portfolio?
It's just about, I'm trying to do math in my head here. When you divide, it's about $4 or $5 billion a year.
Okay. And what if we doubled it? Like what your portfolio. What if I gave you $2 for every dollar you get now? What would be like some stuff you could do?
There's a host of
it's exciting, isn't it?
Investments in the people that immediately.
You probably weren't expecting that question from me.
It's not an offer I get very frequently.
Right, but what's interesting is it's like the offer we've made to Ukraine is actually more than the cost of the United States Marine Corps. In this supplemental that we are about to vote on, there's $61 billion for Ukraine, and it's about $50 billion to have a Marine Corps. So we could double our investment in the Marine Corps, or we could vote for this supplemental. And I'm just going through it, and there's stuff here that is really insulting. The $300 million for the anti-narcotics efforts in Ukraine. So we're about to proceed onto a bill that does nothing to protect Americans from the narcos in Mexico and the Northern Triangle and in this country. But we got $300 million to go fight the narcos in Ukraine. And it doesn't end there. $250 million for the International Development Association. Now, I did not know what that was, but I knew it probably wasn't good. Turns out it's an arm of the World Bank. We are $34 trillion in debt. We are on a glide path to $50 trillion in debt. And we are borrowing money from China to give it to the World Bank. And then I looked at where this money got dispersed, and it's places like Niger. Niger, where we have Air Force and we have Army service members who are not getting their medicine, who are not able to get their troop rotations, who are not able to get their mail, because there are not diplomatic overflights allowed so that we can care for our own service members. So in a bit, we will hear many of our colleagues stand up and talk about how important it is to stand with our allies. But not even all this money's going to our allies. Some of it is potentially being recycled through globalist money-washing accounts to redistribute. And that's really what this is about, what this supplemental is about. It is about creating a massive wad of unaccountable American cash. And when we have had the officials who are the inspectors general over this Ukraine sitting before us at those chairs, they cannot attest that the end-use monitoring is done and that this equipment is not falling into the wrong hands. Matter of fact, when we ask them those direct questions, they tell us, oh, well, we have to talk to you about that in the classified setting, not because the answers are particularly classified, but just because they're particularly embarrassing. So I'm incredibly proud of what you're doing at the Space Force. I hope we're able to ignite more young people toward that interest. If I didn't say so before, the $50 billion we spent on the United States Marine Corps is a tremendous investment. I know that because we've got Marines who work in our office and who are about our district, and we're incredibly proud of them. I yield back.